this file 向量式资料库哈，那这个是新的，把一些英文的部分加上去，那中文的部分有稍微改了一点点哈。OK， first thing I would like to talk about data model, the concept of data model. Data model actually a model is to describe something. So there are different kinds of data models, such as raster base. We already talked about the raster base. Raster base, vector base, or object-oriented, or many sorted algebraic data models. They are data models to describe a graphic GIS data. Here I underline the object-oriented and the many-sorted algebra. That's well for you, a new one, because so far the ArcGIS or MapGuide, the commercial GIS software, they are not object-oriented. They are not also not many-sorted algebra either. Okay. Many-sorted algebra is a theoretical one. Okay, I will mention it later on. Okay. So, vector data model use point, lines, polygons, and the volume to describe geo-object in terms of layers. So you will talk about a lot of layers at this moment, but it's not necessary use layer to describe GIS systems, GIS objects. Okay, but in nowadays most GIS they use the concept of layers. Under the data model, we have a data structure. Data structure is a well-organized way to describe objects such that many objects can be efficiently added, deleted, modified, queried, counted, or computed. Okay, so data structure is well-organized structures. Okay. Previously, we already talked about raster base. So two-dimensional matrix, or tree, or hierarchy are some data structure of raster base. Okay, so there are many. Okay, there are different kind of data structure to describe topology. So mathematically or topologically, there is one topology, but you have many ways to describe it. Okay? So each data structure has its own advantage and disadvantages. It depends on purpose. What is your purpose? The purpose to choose an appropriate data structure. Okay. I will talk about what is data structure later. Okay. So in computer, in program, you always write data structure to construct the system.
We can choose the data structure ourselves.
Yes.
Our requirement.
Yes. Because you write a program. If you write a program, use the Fortran or C++, some programming language, just a low-level language, or some called it high-level language. Yeah, you can construct your own data structure. But if you use ArcGIS, the software package, well, you cannot change it. Okay. So depends on the needs of most potential users in the market. Each GIS software choose a fixed internal data structure. So when you buy ArcGIS, the internal data structure already fixed. You cannot change it. Actually, there's some commercial secret, so they won't tell you. Okay, and the different GIS software package suitable for different users and applications. So internal data structure is a commercial secret. However, to exchange data among different software packages, so they have an external data exchange format. For example, the share file it becomes an external data format, or in the ASCII format. In ASCII format is another external exchange format. KML or XML is an external data exchange format. It's not internal. Okay. Next thing I would like to talk about types of variables. We have to distinguish types of alphanumerical variables. Well, when you look at the variables, the variables are always alphanumerical. It's just 1, 2, 3, or A, B, C, something like that. But actually, they are different. Different type of variable are allowed to operate with particular functions. So the data is associated with some particular functions. Okay? It's a concept of object-oriented programming. The best concept of object-oriented programming is the data is associated with the function. Okay? So as a matter of fact, the programmer designer decided which variable type will be used. Yeah, you will find out the meaning of this one. The designer decided the variable type. Okay, there are 4 or 5 types of variables. The most simple one is nominal variables. Nominal variable use names to describe object. Any object. Any object. It's not necessarily a geo object. Any object. If you just use names, there's no order. If you think, the designer thinks there's no order among the names, then it is become a nominal variables. So set operations such as intersection, union, or difference are limited for the nominal variables. 也就是说，你们如果用人名甲乙丙丁，假设你都没有跟他这个甲乙丙丁中间没有次序，比如说你同学之间的名字之间，你不按照某种次序去排，那这种名字它是一个，那这种变数，比如说班上同学的好的集合，班上同学的集合，那这个集合的值就是某甲某乙某丙，那这中间呢没有次序的。 假设这中间没有座号，你也不会按照笔画姓名笔画去排。It's a nominal variable. There's only names without any order among them. You don't define any order. Then this type of variable is nominal variable. Just a set.
Order. What is the order?
Order means number one. Rank.
In sequence of the
In sequence. No order.
Not in sequence.
Not in sequence. It's just
What's that?
well a set of names. Okay. If the variable is this kind of variable, the value of the variable is no order. There's nominal variables. So for this kind of variables, the operation is set operation is only set operation is allowed. Okay, you cannot a plus b. You cannot use plus. You cannot use minus. Okay. So, second one is ordinal variables is allowed. This type allows there's order among variables. Okay, only sorting, not arithmetic operation is allowed for the ordinal variables. Okay, for example, ranking is an ordinal variable. There's no order among. There's an order among the rank. Right? However, we cannot add rank. You cannot champion plus. Yeah, the number two, the place, second place equal third place. No, you cannot do it. Right? You cannot do addition. So furthermore, we have no idea about the distance between the consecutive ranks. So the difference between the number one and the number the place one and you have no idea about that. You only know this guy's the first place, second place, third place. Okay? So the distances may vary among the ranks. Okay? So this kind of a variable is ordinal variable. Okay? Third one is we call it interval variable. As the distance between the consecutive interval variables is measured, you can measure the distance between the ranks by their score. So you have a score. However, it is incomparable among different groups. For example, we have GIS courses, or English courses, or Chinese courses, Mandarin courses, right? But in different departments. Every professor has his or her own criteria or standards. So you cannot compare your score in this class to another class. Right? Although in the same class, the score is it's clear, right? Yeah, but you cannot compare in different classes. But if you can compare it, it becomes a ratio variable. Okay, so ratio variable use the same scoring standards in different class. So in Taiwan, we have a university or high school or entrance examination. So everyone take the same questionnaire or take the same exam. So the score can be compared. Okay. So we have a zero, the best point. Okay. So if you can find a zero